Alright gang, Joe here at Ferro Woodcraft. We are here for week 22 of 52 Ferro fires. This one is different. Buddy of mine, Brian Garcia, known him for, oh good grief, probably 10, actually, well, 11, probably 12 years, something like that. Around 12 years. We met on a Mini 14 firearm forum. The Perfect Union, I think it was, 12 years or so ago. And we just hit it off, and we've been buddies online ever since. And anyway, he has kind of followed along with this video series for probably since its inception, but not that it's that good. He's just a friend of mine. But anyway, he sent me a care package. First of all, Brian, thank you very much. And yeah, care package. It is creosote. Apparently it's some kind of desert bush. Obviously, this isn't the desert, so I have absolutely no experience of this stuff whatsoever. I've played around with it a little bit since I opened the box this morning, and it's interesting. So, you know, it's not a resource I have in my area, but it's fun to play with different stuff. So, now, this answers one thing a lot of you guys have been asking for. It is green. I talked to him earlier today, and apparently he cut it wherever he cut it from about 3 days ago, and it is still green. It is a unique wood. But first off, I want to show you something. Apparently, his kids drew us a pretty picture to go along with this. So, Brian, thank you. Thank you, your children, for the pretty pattern. Thank you for the wood. I appreciate it. Another cool thing about this, he sent me a bag of the leaves and stuff that grow on these bushes, plants, trees, whatever they are. And on the outside of the bag, he said, "This is the smell of rain in the desert." And he's asked me a couple times, "Have you smelled the bag yet? Have you smelled the bag yet?" That's what the desert smells like when it rains. And I have smelled it. I have. It is a wholly unique smell. I can't decide whether it smells good or if it stinks. But the stinky part of it probably comes from the fact it's been sealed up in a plastic airtight bag for a few days, so it's probably starting to mold a little bit. But anyway, onto the wood itself. Grab a handful. This, here, let me adjust this. I need to do this anyway. This is what he sent. You know, when he said he was sending me some creosote, just at least around here, folks who heat with wood, creosote is at least that word. It's a buildup, a tarry kind of flammable buildup that you get in your chimney, and you know, it's a dreaded word because it catches a lot of houses on fire around here for people who don't really clean their chimneys out as much as they should. And that mostly comes from burning pine, which is very common around here. As far as the tree, burning pine, I don't know how common that is, but I know some people do it. Anyway, so I just assumed that this plant, bush, whatever was whatever related to a pine tree. Looking at it, it shares like no properties with a pine tree, at least visually or smell or feel. Burn wise, I can't really tell you because, you know, like I said, it's green. This stuff isn't dead. Well, I mean, it may be considered dead because it's off the tree, but you know, it hasn't dried out yet. So anyway, let's set some on fire. I'm gonna shave some up, and let's get arranged here. Brought a nice little cutting surface out here because I don't want to bust my knife up on a rock. And gonna make my life a little bit more difficult here today than it should be. Primarily, I'm gonna use the smaller pieces to try to feather up a little bit. Because honestly, these thicker pieces, those are probably still a little bit too small for a bow drill. I've got a couple ideas, and I'm actually going to try it. Not right now, obviously. But also, I want to let this dry out and attempt to use it as hand drill material. Just make a plug out of it and put it in some river cane or something and try to do a hand drill with it. So I'm going to use some of the smaller pieces today, and we'll see what happens. But again, Brian, thank you very much, bud. I believe you're the third person to actually send in any tinder material to play with. So let's get started. Let's get these out of the way. earbuds are getting on my nerves. I'm a musicaholic, guys, in case you haven't figured that out. See what, the mosquitoes are thick this year. Holy moly. I don't know if you can see, but my aim here is, because it's green, it's going to have to be some fine curls. My goal is that, just basically create fuzz, kind of like what you do with bamboo. It's one of the things I love about bamboo. You can cut one straight up green, straight out of the ground, fuzz it up, and it'll take a spark fairly easily. Alright guys, I'm not going to make you sit through all this and just save me from having to edit 10 minutes of making curls out. I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera off, and I'll bring it back when I have a decent pile of these things. Alright gang, that's the pile we ended up with. It's amazing how much tinder you can get out of twigs when you take the time to process them down fairly well. But anyway. You guys wanted to see green material go up in flames? I'll see if I can make that happen. Stuff smells funky. I can tell you right now, it doesn't want to burn. No, that ain't gonna work. Stinks too. She doesn't want to burn. Alright. Alright guys, there we go. I would say that's the point that if I fiddle around with it, we can get a viable flame, somewhat. Dude, that doesn't want to go. Alright, let's give this one more try. I achieved flame, but I thought I could enhance it by blowing on it, and I just blew it out. Alright, well, jeez. Tell you what, this stuff does not smell pleasant when it burns. Doesn't really want to grow either, but what can you expect from something that's still alive? There we go. It just snapped off. Cool. Alright, gentlemen, well, I'd say that's actually burning, sort of. I mean, not the best, but, you know. Cool. I'd say I've successfully made fire with creosote. Green creosote at that. Have a good week, guys. Thanks for joining me.